Hello, 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 hello. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, another day, another stream. Today, or a little bit later. You know, I started a little bit later. Somebody came over, and I couldn't start earlier. So we're starting now. But of course, that shouldn't stop us from, spending the time that we have well. Today will probably be a little bit shorter in terms of its length. But, of course, we still have two topics, as per usual. The first one being the 30-minute quick sketch. We always do a quick sketch. Today's quick sketch is actually number 200. We're going into the 200s. So, welcome back, Hustler. You're going to be witnessing number 200, quick sketch number 200. And then afterwards, we will look at the newest art submissions. The newest, 3D art submissions that have been submitted in the Discord. If you only want to see the first one or the second topic, if you watch this after it's been broadcast as a VOD basically, you should see timestamps in the description or in the timeline, or I just didn't do it yet. Those are the two options. We're gonna go to the 30-minute quick sketch first, and then we're gonna review your we're gonna review the not review, we're gonna give feedback on the artworks. Welcome, Bellwom Armor. Thank you for the well wishes. I hope you work isn't too boring. Good luck to you, and yeah, thank you for the well wishes. Okay, so we begin with the quick sketch, and today's quick sketch I actually think is pretty cool. I don't want to say that the other ones are boring, but I think this one is an interesting concept. Basically, the question for this quick sketch is, what would the devil's skull look like? You often see the devil with these horns protruding out of his head, these very, very sharp features. Of course, there are different ways how it gets interpreted. Some are more human-like, some are more monster-like. And I want to make a quick sketch about basically the question, what do I think, or I guess like a concept, what the devil's skull could look like. We have 30 minutes as always. Everything is set up so we can immediately begin. Hold on. We need the timer as well. There you go. Timer's ready. We can begin shortly. Hold on. Just checking if everything's ready. Yep, everything's ready. Perfect. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go with some horns, definitely. Maybe more than one. Maybe more than one of definitely. Shouldn't be a unicorn. But we'll see. Okay. That's also why the reference has these skulls here, and then of course some different concepts of, I don't know, some demons and some like what the devil could look like basically. So everything's ready. I think we can begin in 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Okay, let's begin. So, hold on. Let's fix that real quick. I see that we can see the hours. There are no hours in 30 minutes, so why don't we delete that? Okay, let's try again. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Perfect. That's better. Okay, nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna go do the same that I always do. I'm going to start with a usual skull, and then we can go into more detail afterwards. Oh, wait, is symmetry enabled? Okay, I guess I just picked the wrong axis. There it is. Is that the front? Yeah, perfect. It is. Yeah, so I've been using this madcap for a few days now, and to be honest, it's pretty good. I like it. It's I think I so far didn't really encounter new problems, and the ones that I encountered before, I basically, you know, solved by just giving it a little bit more gloss. And yeah, I like the color. I like the shading. Maybe, you know, I'll improve it, or, you know, find some things that I want to improve later. But right now I think it's a pretty good madcap, so I'm probably gonna release it. Release it sounds so weird. Probably gonna upload it to, or share it in the Discord if anybody wants to use it. I think it's pretty good. I don't, you know, I think it's better than the standard madcaps. So yeah, probably gonna upload it after the stream. Okay, let's see. So we have the basic head shape. We can start with the eyes. I think the idea would be to create a head, or like the skull would need to look very aggressive. Of course, you can achieve that with different, I guess, methods, you could say. One idea that I have is usually you can basically portray or sell a certain size of a person or a creature by their eye size. As far as I have, I guess, observed, that's just an observation, whatever. What I have observed is that usually bigger animals have smaller eyes, or in general, I guess the eyes just stay the same size. If you look at, for example, mice, you know, most small animals like mice, or maybe even cats, you could say, they have quite big eyes. And I think comparing that to stuff like giraffes or elephants, I think you can see a big size difference compared to the rest of their body. So I think one thing that I have in mind is to make him appear pretty big without having to, I guess, sculpt his entire body, and also nothing basically to compare size to, because usually if you try to, you know, sell something being a certain size, you kind of have to include something that kind of, I guess, you know, that you can use as a reference point, or the viewer can use as a reference point to kind of, you know, see what, for example, like a human would look like. That's why you have these, for example, for a house, like these house renders, ArcViz, for example, you have all these people running around in them, just so you can see how big the house is actually supposed to be. I think that you can do the same for creatures, for example. Just putting a dude next to them kind of sells how big it actually is. So I'm going to do, we can't really do that here, but maybe by, you know, including or making the eyes quite small, we can maybe make him appear a little bit bigger or bulkier. Yeah, just the skull. Nothing more, just the skull. Okay, so let's see. So we could maybe have the, of course, okay, let me just quickly finish the I guess the basic skull shape, and then we can go more into detail, characterizing or giving this skull some character, I guess. One thing that I had in mind is making a pretty sharp jaw, giving him the sharpest jawline you've ever seen. There you go, beginning there, and then maybe even in the front as well. There you go. Starting off like that. We can, of course, go more into detail later. Okay, this was kind of weird. I think we need to pull this a little bit higher, otherwise it just kind of looks too flat. Yeah. Okay, so next up we have the eyes. The eyes are supposed to be quite small. We could, no, we're not going to include eyeballs. That's one more thing we have to keep in mind. So we can't work with eyeballs, of course. So we kind of have to work with, yeah, with the skull shape itself. The skull method where you basically sculpt the different layers on top of each other. Do you mean that? Welcome, Yashgala. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Yeah, I think especially when you want to learn the kind of how to sculpt a face, I think starting off and basically sculpting it in multiple layers can really help in not only practicing the skull shape, but also just kind of yeah, giving you some more, I guess, security when it comes to getting the anatomy right, because you can, you know, focus on each individual layer without you know, you can basically focus on each individual layer without having to think about the others. Welcome back, Zachary. Seems to be a chat hopper, as I can see. Always hopping between the two chats, either Twitch or YouTube. There you go. No, I don't want to make it too thin. One thing I want to do though is probably, let's see. So the skull, let's see, we kind of have to smooth this out. Okay, I'll probably pull this more in here. We also need a more sharp, we need some more sharp features here. So why don't we just kind of increase the eyebrows here a little bit, just to kind of make them a little bit sharper, like this. Perfect, okay. We can probably do the same for the middle part of the eyebrow, but I want to go to the mouth first. So the mouth, you can see different variations. Some don't really have teeth. Some have these very, very sharp teeth. I think sharp teeth are quite fitting for a, you know, demon or devil type character. So we can probably go with that. You could go for something more, I guess you could say, chaotic, or something more organized. Organized would be something more like this, like a symmetrical face with, you know, a jaw and everything sort of similar to a human skull, or something more like this, where you have like weird proportions, maybe even parts missing, or, you know, these super, super huge, long jaw. Maybe there isn't even like a jaw, it's just like kind of bouncy, or I don't know, muscles. And then these huge horns in the back, like a super, super weird head shape. I think I want to go with something in between of those. So I want to keep the basic skull, basic human skull anatomy in mind, but I want to make it a little bit, I guess, chaotic, you could say. So what I mean by that is stuff like the these sort of corners here, make them a little bit sharper. We can then also go into the middle of the forehead and just kind of give them, make him look more angry. Of course, he's the devil, he needs to look angry. So why don't we just give him a little bit more of this angriness here? There you go, maybe even giving a double layer of structure here. There you go. This looks kind of weird right now. We can probably also go in here into the front and kind of give him like a sort of double layer here as well, by giving him this more spheric shape. I think about not even using the smooth tool, just because then we can kind of utilize the structure that gets created by all the brushes that we use. So I'm probably just not even gonna use that. Okay, one thing that I want to do though, is I'll probably make the back a little bit thinner. It looks a little bit too thick for me. Okay, then of course we need to first sort of reinforce or create the skull shape and back here. There's kind of like a weird transition here, so let's kind of do that right now. There you go. I think there's like this hole here in the middle. I can't remember the exact anatomy for the spine hole, I guess you could say. We need to remove this. There you go. Perfect. We also need to make sure that front faces only is on, otherwise we might remove some, which we don't want. We have this sort of horn here in the back. This weird horn that holds some sort of, I don't know, sinew or whatever for the jaw. Let's keep that there. We need some more structure here. There you go. Okay. Perfect. So let's go in here and give it some more detail overall. First things first, I want to make this cheekbone a little bit sharper. So I'm gonna go in here and kind of protrude it a little bit more, pull it out. There you go. We can then maybe even pull it down like this, kind of give it this unique structure where it's kind of going deeper in here, like this, kind of giving this sort of twirl in there, which isn't really realistic, but of course it's a fantasy creature, so we don't really need to worry about, I guess, realistic proportions necessarily. Of course, you should always base your stuff off of realistic proportions, or at least how it works in real life. Just because then it looks more, you know, realistic, of course. But, you know, doing small variations, of course, is part of making the character look more, you know, fantasy-like. Okay. There you go. Maybe even giving him... Hold on, I have an idea. Maybe we could give him this what is it called? Like the upside down cross shape for his nose. Let's see what that looks like. There you go. That looks pretty interesting. Doesn't even look that bad. I like it. I'll leave it there. Yeah. Okay. We still have the mouth to do. Let me just quickly go in here and kind of make this structure a little bit more visible. We have this sort of hole in there. We have the jaw that connects to the upper part of the skull. There you go. Oh. Perfect. Remove some more of this here. This hole is quite deep, so we need to make it quite deep, of course. There you go. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's, so the eyes look kind of too normal. Let's give them a more distinctive shape. We could, you know, go for something more like this, where it looks kind of angry. Let's see. So what if we, we already have these eyebrows, so that's pretty good. We could maybe give these eyebrows like a second layer here that kind of goes back like this. I think that could be pretty cool. Like this, yeah. Demonically angry, exactly. Always angry for no reason, trying to screw you over. There you go. Okay. Then we have this piece here, which can stay right there. We can then, let's see, dig in here some more. We have to remove these two pieces. They are disconnected from each other. Perfect. Okay, so what if we split the lower jaw? First of all, we of course need to split the two jaws from each other. So we're gonna just cut in here. Exactly. It's the same, like, it's similar to like old people. When, you know, when you have certain expressions all the time, when you tend to have certain expressions all the time, the older you get, the more the wrinkles kind of support that expression. So if you always look angry, you kind of look angry all the time the older you get, because the wrinkles kind of get created in a way where you look angry. So oh wait, this looks interesting, but no. So they've just been angry for quite a while, so now they just always look angry, although they might be nice guys. There you go. Okay, so let's remove, oh no, so the idea is basically that I want to split the lower jaw to basically create like two mandibles. I kind of want to see what that looks like. So let's just remove this, kind of even it out with the already removed volume. There you go, maybe even pull it further out. Or we could, let's see. What if we just do it like this? It looks kind of weird, to be honest. What if we remove everything here? Wait, do we? Okay. I'm just gonna remove all this. Let's see what that looks like. First of all, I'm gonna save just to be sure, just to be safe, you know. I don't wanna repeat the project again. Wait, I can't even delete the folder. Okay, nice. Quick sketch day 200, perfect. Okay, let's see. Can we make this look good? Let's see. That's the big question here. Does this does this idea have potential? Let's see. We're about to find out. Yeah, horns will definitely be one thing we need to add, but I want to go over like other features first. Horns are pretty, you know, I guess main features. I kind of want to think about other features first. By the way, do you want to get feedback on your likeness scoped, Hustler? You haven't posted it in the feedback channel, so I'm guessing not. Just asking again. Maybe you forgot, or you know, you've started in the on topic channel and maybe you wanted to stay there. Let's see. One thing we need to add. Oh, I have an idea how we can solve this. What if we go in here? First of all, we need to mask it. Wait, this doesn't work, does it? Oh, it works all the way to there, so I'm happy. We're just gonna select this, and then hold on. There you go. Select it. We need to remove front faces only, and then we're gonna create a sort of carpet of teeth. Wait. There you go. All the way down here. I want to see what that looks like. Not forward, but backwards, like this. Of course, this looks kind of weird right now, but we can do some adjustments. So first of all, let's create some teeth. We're going to begin with the biggest ones, which will probably be here on the side. There you go. Perfect. Those are the big ones. Maybe make them even bigger. Then we have smaller ones which are kind of here. There you go. This looks kind of like a mess. But I'm going to leave it there for now. We can probably fix it later. I'm just kind of looking for a general shape right now. We can probably push this back a little bit just so the big teeth are actually the big teeth. And the other ones are a little bit smaller. There you go. Smooth it. And dig in here. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, hold on. I just saw a wall of text pop up. Hold on. I think this could work. We just have to refine it a little bit. It's just super rough right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there, and then we can do it later once we can probably go into 50 resolution or even. We'll see. There you go. Wait, hold on. Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there for now. It looks more like Cthulhu right now, but I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, let's go to the eyes. The eyes look too easy, too normal. We need to do some changes here. So what if we go in here and maybe add a second layer just to kind of make them look more ominous, like this. Maybe even do the same in the front here. Pull this back a little bit. And then do this. Okay, and then go in here. Yeah. That looks pretty good. I like it. Okay. Let's go to the side here. We can probably do some more there. Or actually, no, let's add some horns now. We're in needs for some horns. So let's begin by adding some horns. So I think we don't really need, do we need one for the lower jaw or for the jaw? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we need horns for the lower jaw. I think we can live with only ones at the top. Although, yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Okay. What type of jaw or what type of horn do we want to have? We have these sort of round horns, pretty big. We have these, well, sort of spiky horns. And then we have these sort of branch-like horns. Hold on. For likeness, I think it's just mileage, so I gotta keep doing it until my eyes can just catch the differences and copy them so much. Copy them so not much feedback to give because I haven't seen it. I have to see it myself first to understand. But if you have time for it, I can draw up the file for the scope. I made it today. If not, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want. I think it can help if you know, if for example we you know, change a few things in Photoshop so you kind of know what. So how I learned likeness sculpting, or how I still learn likeness sculpting, is basically wait, how much time do we have? 8 minutes. Okay. How I learned is basically by sculpting, like doing a project, and then afterwards comparing it to the original, and then not only comparing it, but also yeah, seeing what I haven't nailed, like proportions, for example, or your position of the eyes, the big size of the eyes, stuff like that. And then I basically try to keep that in mind so that I can then next time, when I sculpt that, like a new likeness sculpt, so that I can then basically make sure to pay extra attention to that piece of like to that I guess you could say, like to that part of the sculpt, so that yeah, I try to improve there one thing at a time, so that then at some point maybe I'll get to the full likeness. So I think it can help if, for example, I point out stuff that you can focus on next time, that, you know, you can focus on and make sure that you know, you pay more attention, or you pay extra attention there. I think that can still be helpful, rather than only you trying to figure out what you can do next time, or what you can do better next time. There you go. You know what? I think I'm gonna bring in some horns at the bottom here. I think we're in need for one more set of horns. Put them there. I think that could look cool. Grab them. These ones will just be small ones, to kind of increase the size of the. Oh, hold on. What if we make them? Turn them downwards. What does that look like? Wait. Oh, no, that's weird. That's too much. Yeah, maybe. I think that could work. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's detail these horns some more. I like these stripes that get created just by basically how could you call it? Like by pulling it out. What I want to do with these is I want to make them quite thick, where they kind of go out of the skull. So the base is quite thin, and then they get thicker like when they are out of the skull. I don't want to make them the thickest like where they originate from. I want to make them a little bit thicker when they are already out of the skull, like this. Maybe give them some structure as well. We'll see. So like this, and then maybe what we can do is we can make this a triangle horn with 3 sides or 3 edges. You could, you know, say both. There you go. Like that's the first side, and then we have another one back here. Probably like this. Going forward. Perfect. Yeah. I like these horns when they have this geometric shape. I don't know why, but they just look cooler in my opinion. There you go. Maybe I went a little bit further over there than I wanted. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we can fix that real quick. We can probably go a little bit over here. Like this. That's probably better. Better. Yep. More horns? Oh no. Maybe. Let me just quickly detail these some more before we go into more horns. I know more horns equal better, but let me just quickly see and optimize these. The ones that we already have. This one is probably... No. Is that a trifold? I don't even know. At this point, I'm just adding some details here. 5 sets of horns. Oh no. And we need more than 5. We need 10 sets. 15. Just make it a what is it called? Like the ball, like the underwater ball that's just made out of spikes. What is it, a barnacle? I can't remember. No, it's not a barnacle. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Just make him completely like you can only see horns basically. Sea mine? That sounds... Yeah, like the like in Germany, in German it's called sea hedgehog, but it's a weird word in English if I remember correctly. Puffer? No, it's not a pufferfish. It's these black balls that just are made out of out of spikes basically. We have 1 minute 59. Okay. Let's just work on the rest. I don't think we have enough time to add more horns. I want to work on the rest a little bit more, give them some more, you know, structure. I think that'll be more effective. Oh, wait. 50 for the teeth. Quickly adding some teeth here. Very important. There you go. Easy peasy. Uh, 57 seconds, okay. They will be very sharp, but that's okay. Because they're supposed to be teeth. There you go. Get rid of some of this. Perfect. Maybe we can make them even a little bit longer so they're a little bit sharper. Perfect. We have 2 more. "30 seconds. Carve them out some more. Make them more clear. Make them clearer. "12 seconds. The nose." Going over everything that we can. Just gonna give it some more detail here. There you go. Okay. 2 seconds. Horns. There you go. Okay. It looks kind of like a helmet, to be honest. Not really like a like I mean, it still looks like a skull, but it looks kind of like a helmet. But that's okay. It's fantasy, so it can be anything. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's render this. First of all, I'm gonna push it up a little bit. Wait, yeah. I'm gonna change the pivot point. There you go. So I can put it into the middle of the world. There you go. Exactly, a demon. He slew his father, so now he's wearing his father's face or head. Sounds super epic. Sounds like a Doom lore. There you go. We can place the camera a little bit below it so it looks more menacing. There you go. Perfect. We don't need you, light. Why do I even have you in the scene? Okay. Let's append the lighting scene. Exactly. He's killing and slaying and murdering all his family members and wearing them as you know, clothing. But he's still a nice guy if you get to know him. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Oh, we also need the shader. There you go. There you are. Okay. We're almost there. This looks way better. Look at that. Nice little cavities in there. So now I kind of want to use this first to kind of reinforce the structure. I think on the right side it's placed, or there's a bit of, let's see. No, maybe on the right side it's better. We can then place the rim light more on the other side. Oh, that's too much. Maybe we can make the disc a little bit smaller, the light. Just to kind of make these the rim light a little bit sharper. Oh, hello. Oh, no, that's too far. What is that rotation? It looks so weird. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. I like it. Okay. Perfect. Let's render it. Campfire story slide with the flashlight from underneath. Yeah, let's try that. I kind of was thinking something more like a regular rim light. Yeah, I think that could actually work. Although, this could work. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. If it doesn't really hit the front side, I think it looks better. Yeah, let's use that. That's pretty good. I like it. Good suggestion. Look at him. Okay, let's do some quick magic. There's still the wolf ghost reference. Okay, there you go. We need probably a threshold of 2, right? Just to kind of reduce the glow. Set it to high so the glow is a little bit smaller. Perfect. Okay. 100% times 8. Oh, why do I want to link something? There you go. Okay. It is time for some water. I don't even know if I still have water in my bottle. I haven't refilled it. But let's see. Yeah, a little bit. One sip still in there. Okay, let me check what this weird thing's called. This sort of spike ball. Come on. Sea urchin. Ah, of course. Sea urchin. Oh no, there it is. The devil himself. Oh, whoa, what does that look like? Whoa, okay, hold on. Look at it. Looks so weird. I mean, this looks okay, but then you open it and it just looks like goo. What is that? The edible part of the sea urchin. I know that they can move with these weird arms. What is that? This looks so weird. Looks like an orange. Well, this one does. That's so weird. What is it like an insect? Or what is that even supposed to be? Hold on. Sea urchins. Typically spiny globular animals. Echinoderms. Ah, like sea stars? No. What are they called? Sea stars. Okay. Interesting. Oh, there's the snail. Or not the snail, but yeah, the snail. Sea orange. Exactly. Looks so weird from the inside. I've never seen that before. Yeah, I know that they can move. They have these weird arms that kind of can latch onto stuff and then pull them forward. Hold on. Let me see if we can find a video. Well, that's an interesting eye. Oh, that's not their... Okay, that's not their eye. Sea urchin moving. Let's see if we can find a good video. How do sea urchins walk? Hell yeah. Oh. Wait, they move their spikes? Hold on. That's interesting. Oh, they actually use their spikes to move. But this one looks different than the other ones that we've seen. This one looks super, super different. I wonder if these spikes are actually like super, like dangerous. Like if they can penetrate super easily or if they're actually pretty dull. Let's see. Not immobile at all. No, tube feet. There it is. Is it that one? Come on, I don't want to see your PowerPoint presentation. Are those their feet? Please move. Oh, there it is. These small things. These sort of, I don't even know what you call this. These arms. I think that's what they use. You can see them twisting and twirling. I think they latch onto stuff and then pull themselves forward. Running away from sunflower stars. Oh, that's the long boy. Well, it moves, but it looks like a UFO in the way that it moves. Super stiff and just one axis at a time. It looks like this one uses their its spikes as well, but I think they use arms. Can we just see it? Hold on. Sea urchin arms. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Well, maybe they just move their shell so that the spikes kind of, I guess, move forward. He's just chilling. Okay, let's finish the quick sketch. Yeah, I like this. I think this looks pretty good. Okay, let's go into Photoshop and finish it. Where am I? Okay. Quick sketch day, what is it? 200, of course. There you go, perfect. I thought about making like a special quick sketch, I guess, or a special stream for a certain quick sketch number. I thought about doing it at 200, maybe at like a year, 350, 65, I don't know. But basically the idea would be to spend an entire stream on a quick sketch, which doesn't really make sense. But, you know, it's just an exception. You know, quick is subjective, so it could mean, you know, if you live a million years, 2 hours aren't that much, you know? So quick is relative. Okay, there it is. Okay, good old post-production. There you go. Perfect. And selective color correction. There you are, making it a little bit darker maybe. And then brightening up probably some parts just to make it a... Actually, maybe just a little bit. 14, yeah. Perfect, okay. See the difference? Ooh. Okay, we need a texture. Welcome back, Kush Shah. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. No, yeah, your Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, beginning of the weekend. Hope you're excited. Maybe not. Maybe every day feels like Friday for you. Maybe you've won the lottery. You know, maybe work is like your hobby. There it is. Perfect. So let me try something real quick. I want to just see if we can use the multiply technique here. So let's see. So one thing we could do, of course, yeah, let's just try some stuff. So what if I just apply a make a new like layer on top, and then what if I just grab like a nice yellow here, decrease the maybe orangey yellow like this, decrease the saturation. Put that there. Oh, I need... nice. Yes, nice. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Well, this looks weird. But it could work. See how it kind of... Oh. Maybe this is too saturated. Let's actually decrease... Or let's go a little bit darker here. Maybe like a nice orange. It shouldn't go darker. It should just go maybe a little bit more saturated, actually. Let's see. Oh. The background being kind of orange looks kind of weird, but I think that's okay. So now what we can also do, what happens if I add another layer? That would probably not really work. So if we would use this technique, one thing we have to keep in mind is that we either use mask to just remove the color where we don't want it, or yeah, basically multiplying again probably doesn't really work. So what if we just now use a nice red color like this, and then put it on top? It wouldn't really work that well because it... Wait, does it? What? Hold on. What? Oh, there you go. Wait, it does. Wait, it does work. That's interesting. So it takes the highest color basically, which is actually super cool because then you can be more free in how you apply the colors. So you can, you know, go in here, do this, and then you say, well, you know what? The horns can probably be, I don't know, green. So let's go in there and add some green, set it to multiply. Well, no. Okay, so it's still, okay. So I'm guessing red and orange works quite well. But of course, different channels, basically, way different colors don't really work that well. So we still have to work with either masks or... we have to use selections, basically, like selecting what we want to color in a different way. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is red. Let's see. What if we put that on top and then use another layer to kind of give it this nice yellowish color? Can we do that? Hold on. Ooh. This would work better if it would be like if the skull would be separated from the background, because then we can basically only apply the color to the skull instead of the background as well. Because then this would probably work quite well. Oh, who cares? Okay. So then we have this, and then we can kind of, I don't know. What if we use a dark color? What if we use something like a dark red? What is it? What does happen then? I guess, yeah, it just gets darker. So we can go in here and kind of make this darker. We can maybe even go in here and use a nice, I don't know, like a yellowish color. There you go. Put that in there. Look at him. It's a little bit too yellowy, but you know, that's just the concept. Yeah, that's one thing that I want to play around with more. Maybe we'll make a stream where we just kind of, you know, create, or we use an old render it in black and white and just try to, I guess, do all the colors in Photoshop. Maybe we'll see. That could be like a cool way to combine 2D and 3D to create the final render. Like a 2D 3D hybrid. That could even be faster, you know, applying textures, for example, or just changing color even. Okay. Anyway, you can provide your render. You mean the what do you mean? You mean the file or the render, the image? Perfect. Let's save the file. Okay, perfect. Let's get back to Blender. We don't need Photoshop right now. We probably need it later, but not right now. Okay. I need my phone though. Of course, I need to upload it to social media. I can put it in the Discord if you want. You mean the pure one or the one with the filters, or with the adjustments? Okay, import it, and then we can upload, and then we can go to today's topic, which would be feedback. We have 3, you could say. Well, yeah, we have 4 pieces. Wait, 4? 4 pieces that we're going to look at today. And yeah. So let's don't waste any time and get there as fast as possible. I'm going to import this into my phone, and then while I'm uploading it, you'll see the good old compilation. I'm thinking about maybe taking time off, probably the week after next week. So yeah, maybe after that week we'll have another compilation. Maybe the compilation take quite a while, so I don't know if I want to spend it more on other stuff or on a compilation. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, I'll just save that as well. Do I? Oh wait, I already saved it, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, hold on. Okay, here you go. I'll just give it to you. I'll just wait. Here you go. Oh, it's too big. Hold on, I need to make it smaller. Hustler out here again, stalling the stream as always, trying his best. There you go. Wait. Perfect. Oh wow, it went from 15,738 kilobyte to 368. No, to 199. Okay. Hold on. Here you go. What's your name again? Oh, there it is. Have fun. Oh, I can see yours here. The skull, the demon or the devil's skull. I see the set of horns. You even put horns on top of other horns. How many sets do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sets of horns. Maybe you could even count these ones, the back ones there. Crazy. But I think that's not enough. We need more. We definitely need more in the next one, if we ever do one of these again. Okay. Yep. We're done with the render. So I'm gonna upload it. You're gonna see a quick compilation, and then we're gonna go to the feedback. Of course, as always, if you want to get feedback on your pieces, you can join the Discord and upload them there in the personal feedback channel. Wait, oh yeah, okay. Yep, I'm gonna see you in 3 minutes. Hope you enjoy the compilation, and then we're gonna begin. And here we are, back again for another feedback session. Okay, so we have 3, 4, 4, 4 like this, 4 like this, no, hold, like this, or like this. That doesn't work. My hand can't do it, or like this. Yeah, we have 4. There was another way how you can count with your fingers, which was kind of weird. I think it was like 1, this one's 2, this one's 3, this one's 4, this one's 5, and then you say, well, if you want to show 3, you would show this. If you want to show 4, you would show this, and this way you can show more than 10, I think. So then you can say, well, the maximum would be 5 plus 4, 9, 12, 14, 15. You can say you can show 15 numbers with just your 5 fingers. I don't know if anybody used that, but I think I learned that in school at some point. But it probably is pretty useless in general because nobody uses it that way. Okay. So today we have 4, if you haven't learned that yet. Let's begin with the first one that got submitted, which was from Zaro. Okay, the first submission for the feedback session was from Zaro, I think. Let me just quickly check, and then we can, I'll pull it up. It was the dude. I don't wanna, what is it, misgender, but it looks like a male character. So we're gonna look at that first. Let me quickly pull it up, and then we can look at it. I think this one is a good case for Photoshop, but we're gonna look at it first in Blender. I think that is easier. There you go. There you go. Let's look at, hold on. There you go. We're gonna look at the front image first, this one. I think we only need 2 of these. Well, we can look at all 3, but we're gonna begin with this one. Okay, of course, it's a little bit harder to see, just because there's so much noise. So we can't really go into the structure of the face that much. One thing that you could try when, wait, what is up there? Does that mean, okay, 32. You can increase your, one thing you can do to make your viewport render smoother, or just overall, I guess you could say, less noisy, is you can increase the viewport render. If you, for example, put this to 128 is usually what I do. You can type in 128, or you can also just go in here and then type in ×4. Usually 32 samples don't take that long to render, or to render basically in the viewport. Putting it higher than that basically doesn't really, well, it takes longer to, okay, let me, it's hard to explain. If the threshold, or if it takes a certain amount of time to get to 32 samples, but then you increase the border or the maximum to 128, you don't lose quality, you only gain more quality in the viewport render, just because it still takes the same amount of time to render 32 samples, but if you stick with the same view for a little bit longer, it gets better and better. So one thing you can do to just overall, I guess, make your viewport a little bit smoother is to increase the viewport rendering sample. I do that sometimes, for example, when I create pretty complex, renders. I bump up my viewport render to 128. It maybe takes, like, I don't know, 20 seconds more, but 20 seconds isn't really that long. You can even do something else as long as you don't move your viewport render. You have maybe a separate viewport render like window. Then you can just leave it there, not move it, and it's just gonna get better and better, less and less noisy, without you having to do anything, and not really having to spend more time, because you don't have to wait to finish. You don't have to wait for the viewport render to finish. You can just switch the perspective, for example, whenever you want. I think that's just like an added benefit that doesn't really cost you anything, and it makes your viewport render or viewport screenshots a little bit more clean, or smoother. But this is still a good good screenshot. We can look at this and give some feedback. Okay, I think for this one I think the focus that I want to put on, or the thing that I want to focus on, the topic that I want to focus on for this is probably anatomy. We can talk about the hair as well. I like the beard. I think what you could do with the beard is kind of create a transition between basically where the hairs are and where they aren't. If we, for example, look at a real beard, hold on, beard. This one's perfect. Okay, let's look at a real beard. Look at this. We can see this one, of course, is much longer than yours, but the principle is still the same. It also counts for hair, so you can use the same for hair. Whenever there's hair, the outer edge is basically like a transition from no hair to hair. You can see here, this part here, where there's like basically, where it's in between or right in the middle of the overall space where the hair grows out of, you can see this one is super dense. That is probably because there's not really more hair, but the hair is more overlapping over each other. There's just, you know, more hair kind of going in all directions. Where you have these the starting points or the edges of the beard, you can see that because of the flow, they all go in the same direction, which also means that you can see a clear transition, because there will be, like, this is where the hair begins to grow, and then you have layer over layer of more hair, which then of course creates more density, which also makes it look like which creates this transition from very dense to very light. The first row of hair will not create a perfect line and a perfectly, basically the density isn't basically dense enough, high enough to fill the entirety of the skin. You can still see skin between the hair particles, let's say, up until a point where there are so many layers on top of each other, layers of hair, that you can't really see the skin anymore. So you get a naturally gradient from, I guess, starting or the edge of the beard to the middle of the beard. One thing you can do to achieve that very easily for example, your beard, it's especially simple for short beards, is you can use, what is it called? Vertex paint. No, not vertex paint. It's called weight painting. Weight painting is a perfect way to work with interpolated hair, let's say. It can also work with simple hair, but I like to use it more with interpolated hair. Interpolated hair is, of course, inherently random where it's placed, so you can't really control where the hair particles are placed on the surface. But you can determine how many or how likely it is that there is a, or you can define a density in a certain spot for the, what is it called? Interpolated hair. So what if we can do here, for example, is we can go in here and create a new particle system, set it to here. Oh, hold on. We can say we want, let's just use 100, and then children interpolated. Now we have more children, of course. They are randomly placed on the surface. And yeah. Now, the problem is basically that there's no transition. They're just randomly placed somewhere. So, which means if you now go in here, for example, and you duplicate this ball, you remove this particle system and you increase the size. Then you go into the other one with the hair on it, and you remove some vertices, like over here, for example. There you go. You can see that there's this very clear edge or clear line where the hair begins. There's not really a good transition between the two. You can create a transition pretty easily though. Let's quickly talk about how you can do that. So, wait, is the hole gone? Yeah, perfect. You can do that with weight painting. The way you do weight painting is basically just you begin by selecting vertices. Then you can, for example, do the same that we've done before. There you go. We say make a new vertex group in here in the green tab basically. Click on the plus and then say we assign it. We can call it, for example, density. Density. And then we assign them. We go out of it and then we can go back to the hair particle system. Down here in the vertex groups, you can say density and then you can apply the density vertex group. You can see now the gradient is still very strong, and that is because the section that we've made, or the weights, basically, I'm going to show you what the weights look like now. Hold on. Let's go to, we select the density vertex group, and then we go into weight paint mode. You can see how sharp it is. Blue means nothing, blue means 0, and red means white. Or not white, what? Red means 1. This is basically just saying, well, where there's blue, there should be nothing. Where there's red, there should be everything, or the most. And then there's a transition from red to blue, indicated by these different colors, like green and cyan, I guess. What you can do here, though, is you can use, you can smooth this. So you can say weights, for example. If you've what I like to do for beards is, for example, I like to draw out a very, very clear shape, like how you've done it here. Let's just do that real quick. So we have the tools right here. We just need the pen. We then go in here and change it to subtract, for example. And then we can remove some of this. We can create a certain shape, for example, like a I don't know, like a circle, like this. And then once we have the clear circle, which has very, very defined edges, what we can do then is we can go in here and use weights, smooth, and you can see it smoothes the transition. What you can also do is you can first of all increase the iterations, for example, or the factor. What I like to do is set it to 1. If it's a very, very big smoothing that I'm looking for, I set it to, for example, 1 and then 10, maybe even more, to make it super, super smooth. And then if it isn't enough, if that if that smoothing isn't enough, what you can also do, let's set this back to 1. So this, for example, I want to have more than this. What you can do is if you've done it once, the next action that you've done, you can repeat by pressing Shift R. So you have smoothed it once. What you can do now is you can press Shift R to repeat it. You can repeat it as many times as you want until you reach the desired result. I want to have some blue in the middle still, so I'm going to leave it like this. It's way smoother than before, and this should, demonstrate what I want to say pretty well. Okay, now that we've smoothed the weights, we can go back to object mode. Let's bring back the other sphere, and we can see the transition is there. We can see there are just a few hairs in the middle. There isn't really, it's not as dense as here, for example, like here. We can also see this sort of small, sort of like lower density over here. I guess if we increase the number of hairs, that should be even more visible. 500, for example. Yeah, you can see this nice transition into the middle where there's nothing, and then you can see this nice transition out to where there should be the most. You can do the same with the length, for example. Let's do the same here. There you go. Now the ones that are close to, or now the vertex group does not only change the density, but it also changes the length. What if we remove this? You can see it basically does the same, because 0 basically means the length is 0, so we can't really see the hair. So that's one thing how you can use, or how you can very easily model beards, or basically use particle hair for beards without having to groom it, and basically creating these nice smooth transitions to the rest of the skin or the rest of the face. For beards, what I usually do, I only use density, because beards, are quite random in their hair length, for example, and they don't really change the length necessarily where basically the transition begins. If we look at the reference again, you can see this hair here up here is still as long as the one that is in the middle. So the only thing that you basically need is the density map. Okay, let's get to the anatomy. We don't need you. Okay, so I think, as I said before, the best thing to focus on here would be the anatomy. Let me just quickly pull up the side view as well. There you go. Okay. Let's look at the front view first. So there are a few things that jump out to me. I like the general head shape. The ears seem to be in the right position, kind of, they end slightly above the eyes. They could maybe start a little bit lower. Maybe that's just the focal length that kind of hides the ears behind the cheekbone, for example. But in general, I think putting the eye starts at the bottom of the nose, basically over here. Hold on, where's my pen? There you go. The ear starts roughly over here, right there, and ends roughly over here. Oh, right here somewhere, like there. Oh, like there. The top part of the ear is good, but I think you can just kind of pull it down a little bit more. Yeah. What also was kind of what I think can be a little bit smoother if you usually look at necks. I said it yesterday. What I like to do is I like to basically sculpt every muscle as if there was no fat and no skin that smoothes the muscles. And then I use just like the smoothing brush to smooth everything so that it looks more natural. I think what you can do here is you can kind of just smooth the neck a little bit in this region, just to kind of smooth out especially these two muscles that go down like these. What are they called again? The sternocleidomastoid. Yeah, basically smoothing them will make it look a little bit more natural. You can see it in this one especially. You can see how far they protrude from the rest of the skin. I think by just, you know, smoothing it a little bit, you can really make it look more natural. One thing you can also do is you can, or where they are placed, these muscles, is they, right now what it looks like is they go from here and then connect to the jaw like this. That's what it looks like from here. Maybe in a different render it looks different, but that's what it looks like right here, where they basically attach to on both ends. But actually what they do is they attach to the collarbone and then they go to behind the ear, like right here, like this. You can see it probably in my live. Can we see it? Yeah, we can. See the, wait, there you go. Can you see this muscle right there underneath the ear? This broad muscle that then goes into here and connects to the, hold on. There you go. Look at it. See it right there? You can see the muscle right here that is underneath the ear, and then it goes down and to the collarbone. You can see there's also one muscle that kind of goes to the side, but I think that's a different one. That is not part of the sternocleidomastoid or whatever it's called. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, kind of pushing them a little bit further back and making them originate from the ear, I think makes it look also a little bit more natural. There you go. Wait, let me just quickly check if that's actually part of the... Well, it seems like it actually splits into pieces, so this might actually be part of the sternocleidomastoid. Okay. Okay, that was one thing. Let's go to the front view again. Yeah, just smoothing them and putting these a little bit further back, I think can help a lot. Let's go back to this one. Okay. I think the front view looks pretty good. I like the front view. I like the placement. I think one thing you can do is you can kind of push the collarbone a little bit higher, especially for male characters. Usually the neck isn't as long. It is correct that you can see the back of the neck or the back of the neck is higher than the front, basically the collarbone. There's like a slope going down, but it's not as strong as you have it right there. Looking at the live reference, you can see, hold on, there you go. You can see here's the neck. Wait, you can see the neck right here, right here, right here. And then the collarbone, if I place my finger right there, starts right here. So there isn't really like a huge distance between it. We're looking at it from the side. You can see there's a slight slope going down, but it's not super steep. Looking from the side, there you go. The collarbone is roughly over here. See the distance? Maybe you could even say the distance is roughly from the nose to the bottom of the chin. I can't really measure that right now, but maybe that could be the case. So I think one thing you could do is just kind of reduce the distance from here to here. Kind of pull up the collarbone a little bit more. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think there's more we can say about this in the side view. Overall, I think I like the face structure. You know, you can see the jaw. You can see the ears. You know, of course, you need to see the ears. Yeah, just overall, I think the ear size, you can make them a little bit bigger, and then especially these muscles here, kind of originate from where they shouldn't and then smoothing this a little bit as well, kind of removing some of that definition. Okay, let's go to the side view. This one, I think this one you can see a little bit more. First thing first, which is kind of, you know, it took me a little bit to realize as well, but the chest basically, like up here, is actually quite steep, or it is quite voluminous. Oh, there you go. Why do I always forget it? Okay, so yeah, front view, smoothing this, making these muscles originate from the back of or underneath the ear, making the ears just a little bit longer or bigger, and yeah, and then smoothing this as I said before, bring the collarbone a little bit higher so that the neck isn't as long. And then yeah, let's go to the side view. The side view, the chest I think is too flat. You can see how far forward the chest goes in this. See how his head ends right here, but the chest is even further forward than his head. You can even see the slope going back. You can see this very, very clear slope, especially going from the shoulder right here, or from the neck downwards. See how far forward it goes. Of course, he has a certain pose where he's kind of maybe even arching his back a little bit more than usual, but you can still see that how far forward the chest goes. So one thing you could do is you could just kind of push this out some more, push this in this direction some more, push the chest more forward. It is correct that the collarbone is roughly, yeah, it's basically behind the face, you could say, but it's that is not the case for what comes after the collarbone, basically the chest right here. So one thing you can do is you can kind of first of all pull up the collarbone a little bit in this direction, and then you can push this further out in this direction, just to kind of give it some more volume. The same of course for the back. I think it just looks a little bit thin right now, just because there's some volume lacking here. I guess that's just because it's a bust, so you stop right here, but maybe adding a little bit more over here as well can help give this some more volume, make it look less flat. You can see how wide it gets, here, comparing that to yours. Hold on, there you go. You can see how wide it gets. The shoulder blades are super far back compared to the head, and then the chest and also especially the abs are quite far, like, apart as well. Like comparing this distance here, I think you can just make it a little bit wider looking from this side. One thing that kind of I think, or which kind of sprung into my eyes is that the ear structure looks a little chunky, you could say. I think overall the structure of the ear is quite detailed. It is let's say it's thin. What I mean by that is basically, I think the structure, as far as I can see, looks pretty good. You have the general C shape right there, then you have the inner part of the C shape that kind of creates the border around the ear. I can't really see much in the middle, so I can't really speak of that. But if we look at the outer corner or the outer edge, I think what you can do is you can kind of push what is currently right here more out, so that you have more something like this. This kind of removes some of that chunkiness from the ear and makes it look more, natural. More. Let's compare it to a real ear. We can see here. Let's see if we can see another one. Side view. Come on, give me a side view. Well, there's no side view. Okay. Face, side. Nope. Profile. Let's say side. I think side is just easier. Profile can give you weird results. Okay. Let's look at this one. This one actually has quite, I guess, wide ear borders. Right here. You see, this is quite broad, quite wide, but it's still thinner than yours. I think you could just kind of push this a little bit further back, make it a little bit thinner. I think that can work quite well. Yeah. I think one thing also is the depth of the face. Of course, it depends on what kind of ethnicity basically you want to sculpt. But in general, you could say this would be like a Caucasian person where the face, or for example, you have the cheekbone right here, and then the nose is a little bit further in front of the cheekbone. Then you also have the lips, which are also a little bit further in front of the cheekbone. The cheekbone is roughly on the same height in terms of horizontally than the eyes, and a little bit further back than the eyebrows in the middle. Comparing that to an Asian face side. Let's see. There you go. That's the perfect example. You can see how the face is just way flatter. You can see the cheekbone is right here, and basically almost on the same height, or is it the same level horizontally, the nose begins. So there isn't really that much depth in, for example, an Asian face. It's not really meant negatively, just, you know, comparing the two volumes or the two face structures. You can also see the nose bridge kind of actually almost goes behind the eye. Comparing to this one, you can see a very clear nose bridge in front of the eye. So one thing, if this, you know, supposed to be like a more, I don't know, like a more Caucasian character, one thing you could do is, this bridge looks pretty good. One thing you could do though is probably either push the nose a little bit further forward. Same for the lips. I think the lips can need some more volume. Usually lips are further forward than the chin. You can see it right here. Let me actually look at I guess, male character. That could probably be a better example. Man face side. There you go. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, looking at these in general, this one is, you know, you can see this one, the chin, or the chin is further forward than the lips, comparing that to the other ones that we have here. This one, for example, or this one, or even this one. You can see the chin generally is either on the same level horizontally, or the lips are a little bit further in front. Yeah, so one thing you could do is you can kind of maybe not really push the chin back. I think the chin is okay. What you can do though is you can kind of push the nose further forward and then bring the lips forward as well, like this. There you go. I think that can help make the face look less flat. Of course, if you're going for that, that's okay. But, you know, that's one thing you can do. And then also bring the lips forward, the nose maybe a little bit forward, just so we have some space here between the cheekbone that is right here and the beginning of the nose. Just make the nose a little bit longer, I guess. That also basically elongates the head a little bit. I think the head in general, comparing it to this dude again, you can see the head isn't really like a sphere. If we would draw a sphere into this head right now, it would probably look pretty round like this. This is probably, you know, more like a sphere than an oval. Comparing it to this one though, you can see how flat it is up here. Wait, here it's quite dark. You can see how flat it is up here. So it kind of starts as a sphere, but then it goes way further back than a sphere would, and then it comes back in. So it's more like an oval. It's elongated on this axis. It's just a little bit wider, which means that your ears can go a little bit further back, not too much, but a little bit, which also means that the chin can be a little bit longer. I think that overall can just elongate the head a little bit and make it look less flat. I think the best way to show that would be to go into Photoshop and just do these changes real quick. So let's go into Photoshop. There you go. If there's anything, you know, the chat covering anything, just tell me. There you go. Okay, so where's my... There it is. Perfect. Let's do these changes in here. I think that's the best way to portray it. There you go. Okay. So one thing we talked about is the neck length. So let's just push this up a little bit. We just grab it and push it up. There you go. Perfect. Just kind of make the neck a little bit shorter. Okay, perfect. Then one thing we wanted to do is kind of push the chest further forward. So let's just grab the chest. Hold on, we need to make it smaller. There you go. And just push it further forward like this. Maybe even the collarbone a little bit. Looking at the reference that I have here, our friend, the collarbone is roughly where on the same vertical or horizontal height as where the jaw connects to the upper part of the skull. So it's roughly over here somewhere. We can maybe pull it back a little bit. Actually, no, I want to keep it there. There you go. Okay. Perfect. We can then give it some more volume in the back here. Roughly a little bit more here, probably like this. Just to kind of give it, you know, overall some more depth. I guess the widest part of the back is higher than the widest part of the chest. You can see it right here. It has like a downwards slope, basically. Keeping that in here as well. Making this thicker over here and this thicker down there. Perfect. And then let's go over to the face. We're gonna go a little bit closer. And then let's talk about the face. One thing we said was the length of the head. So one thing we can do is we can just kind of grab it and push it further back. I don't want to push it forward, I want to push it back. So I'm just going to grab this and push it back. Just a little bit, just to kind of elongate the head a little bit. There you go, make it more like an oval rather than a sphere. We then have to bring back the jaw and ears as well. Kind of keep the ears in the middle of the head, roughly, or where they originate from. Perfect. There you go. And you can see the face is already a little bit longer. One thing we can also do is we can make the nose a little bit longer. So let's just grab the nose. We can maybe even make the bridge if we want to, bring it, you know, further in, but I don't think that's necessarily. Let's focus on the tip of the nose. We'll just grab it. We can keep the roundness, of course. The no roundness isn't really what I'm looking for here to change, but more the length. There you go, bring it further forward. Doing the same for the lips. Oh, hold on. This will probably look very distorted, but I'm doing my best. Okay. There you go. Maybe also looking at the forehead. You can see the forehead usually, it can be quite bulky, but usually you have a slope going backwards. For this one, for example, it stays quite far. Wait, no, it's like tilted, so you can't really see it. Usually the forehead has like a backwards motion to it. You can see it here, like going backwards, like a diagonal going backwards for this one as well. It stays, you know, it goes first just straight up and then back. But overall, it's not like super chunky, you could say. The muscles in the forehead aren't that big. So even for this one, for example. So one thing we can do is probably just kind of push this back a little bit. There you go. Just a little bit. There you go. Okay. Also, one thing you can do is keep the lower lip behind the upper lip. Also, one thing we need to do when we push forward the nose is we need to bring this kind of piece here where the nose connects to the lips forward as well. Like this. There you go. Okay. We could maybe also kind of reduce the chin size, but that's not really, that maybe optional more. There you go. Okay. Let's compare this to the previous version. Okay. Okay. You can see the difference. Um, you know, by just kind of pulling everything um, like apart a little bit, you can kind of give it some more space and make it more according to, for example, this person here or the references that we looked at. Um, Kind of pulling everything apart a little bit more makes it look more like a Caucasian face, for example, which I think you went for. And I think a Caucasian face is also easier to sculpt because the planes of the face are easier to basically incorporate. They're not, you know, when they're not as flat, you have more room to play with, so it's easier to include them. Comparing the two, you can probably see the changes. One thing you can do to keep, or one trick that you can always, or that I learned when I learned digital drawing, is this diagonal line. Hold on. This diagonal line going from the nose, which is the furthest forward, to the chin, like this. This is a good line to keep in mind for just a regular design of characters looking from the side. Usually the tip of the nose is the furthest forward from anything looking in the profile view. The upper lip is then the second furthest, then followed by the lower lip, and then followed by the chin. For males, sometimes the chin can be either on the same level or a little bit further forward than the lower lip, but as an average, you can keep this in mind, this simple rule, you know, keeping this diagonal line in mind. Yeah, and that's how you can improve your sculpt. You know, you can especially see see the difference. I think the differences are quite apparent. Yeah, making the head a little bit longer, making maybe the forehead a little bit less, or removing some of that volume, giving it like a backward slope. The nose, pull it forward a little bit. The lips as well. Chin can stay the same, and then pushing this further forward, pulling the neck upwards. No, the collarbone upwards, so you can kind of reduce the length of the neck, and then kind of giving him some more volume in the back, basically as well. Comparing it again, you can see the differences. You can see even these subtle changes in the forehead can do big changes. Yeah, that would be my feedback for this character, or for this piece. Okay, let's get back to Blender. Let's go to the next one. Can I actually just remove these? Oh, they're gone now, are they? How do I remove pieces from here? Hold on. Image, close, edit, no. Edit externally, what does that mean? Extract palette? Okay. Wait, what? What does that mean? Where's the palette? Okay, who cares? Okay, let's get to the next piece. The next piece, I think, hold on. The next piece was from him as well. He was working on his female character some more. He created some you know, different hairstyles, and maybe even some different makeup. I think the makeup is still the same. So I think what I want to focus on here, or no, okay, before we go into that, he also then made a few more, or another outfit that you can see right here. So what I want to talk about is, first of all, the outfit, and then also the hairstyle that is right here. Let's talk about the outfit first. The outfit, of course, being in here. There you go. Let's begin with this one. There you go. Can we remove these lines? No, we can. Can we? Oh, we can't. Perfect. We can. Perfect. There you go. Okay. So, first of all, I like it. I like that it is that the fabric is quite thin. That was one thing we talked about last time. The fabric for the jacket, it's okay, but for something more thin, like a bracelet, for example, or other stuff, keeping the fabric quite thin can make clothing look way more natural. I guess the best way to do that would be to model the clothing with poly modeling, and then using a solidify modifier to give it some more basically, make it more solid, give it some depth. I'm not really sculpting it. Sculpting, if you can see the two sides, can be quite annoying because making it super thin can be, annoying. But I like this. You can see the gloves aren't super thick. They aren't like super like wide going like this. They're actually quite close to the arm. Of course, this is more like a skin tight outfit. So of course, you can maybe even use the character and just inflate it, no, exflate it to make it a little bit bigger and use that as the outfit base. But even the other pieces like the collar and all that stuff, it doesn't look super thick. So that's what that's pretty good. Good job. I think for the, what are they called? The boots, I think the thickness kind of work, maybe a little bit thinner, but it's, I guess more preference. Yeah, I think the best, or the thing that you can do to improve this sculpt the most would be something we talked about last time as well, which would be two things. One thing would be seam lines, where basically the suit is made out of multiple pieces of fabric, whether it's whatever it is, like leather or whatever. It'll always be made out of multiple pieces, and these pieces need to be sewn together somehow, or somehow connected. So there needs to be a seam line. If we look at jeans, for example, jeans, you can see first of all, of course, the seam line in the middle. You can also see, can I see a side view of this? Wait, please. I just need a side view. Oh, there you go. You can see how many different pieces there are. Of course, you have this big piece for the main part of the leg, but then you also have a small piece if you want to have a pocket, for example, that is inside of the, or behind the big piece that creates the pocket. You have then the other side of the leg. Basically, the most basic shape for legs, or for jeans or any pants, basically, are two pieces for each leg, one in the front and one in the back. Basically, if this would be the leg, one would be wrapping around from the front and one would be wrapping around from the back, so that then they would be sewn together in the middle, which we can see right here. So kind of looking at how you could create these suits in real life, but by using multiple or different pieces of cloth or fabric, and then adding these seam lines to the suit I think is one thing that can dramatically increase the realism of the suit. Not really looking at textures or anything. I think textures aren't as important as, I would say, seams. And the other thing that I want to talk about are two things that I would say are medium detail, or medium level details, you could say. Of course, if you talk about sculpting, we always talk about the 3 stages, basically: super rough, super basic shapes, then adding more detail to it in the, I guess, level 2, and then level 3 would be adding like super fine detail, like pores or maybe even wrinkles. I think seam lines would be part of the level 2 phase, where it still changes the structure of the clothing, but it's not as strong as the basic shape, basically. I think by just adding these seam lines, you can really dramatically enhance the look of the suit. For example, you can create a put a seam line right here, same on this side. You could maybe even create a seam line that goes on the side here all the way down. Same for here. There you go. We don't even need like a seam line for the pants. We don't need to create like seams there, but like a seam line over here, maybe even here, going down there. The boots, I think, are okay. I don't really know how boots are created, or how you how you make boots. So I don't know what the seam lines are there. But for the suit, for example, you can do it like this. Maybe even like put a seam line underneath here, That can help as well. And just overall, yeah, look at the way you would create one of these suits in real life and kind of adapt the seam lines to your suit. The next one that I want to talk about is folds. Every time you wear anything, you will never get your suit, the clothing that you wear, you will never get it to be super smooth. There will always be folds. That's what we looked at last week. We looked at game characters. Even though, game characters always move, sometimes they, especially if you have like a long sleeve t-shirt or whatnot, like a hoodie. If you do this, of course, you have a lot of wrinkling and a lot of folds right here in between the lower arm and the upper arm. But if you then stretch out your arm, of course, you don't have that. You don't have these folds there. They're still, maybe they remain there after doing this beforehand, but if you stretch it out, they will kind of, get smooth again. But what they do is they include folds where there usually always will be folds. That doesn't mean that they sometimes, go away because you stretch in a certain way, but usually if you just sit in a certain pose, you always have folds in certain areas. For example, looking at my t-shirt here. Hold on. I don't need this right now. I don't need Photoshop right now. There you go. Looking at my t-shirt. Hold on. You can see, especially here in the, what is it called? Like the armpit, there are usually some folds that go like into the middle. That's one thing you could add, like just some folds right there. Maybe even some folds where you have the, the middle of the, right here, like the arm, I don't know, the elbow opposite side. That's one thing where you can add some folds, and maybe even in the gloves as well. I think these are the two things that you can do to improve the quality and realism of your outfits for your characters. Yeah. And then of course afterwards you can go into level 3 of the process and add textures, for example, to this for example, just to make it look even better. Those would be my criticism, or not criticism, but more like feedback for the suit. We talked about it more extensively last time. I don't want to repeat everything, but this I think encapsulates basically everything that we talked about last week. So folds and wrinkles, and I think wrinkles are only on skin, right? So folds and seam lines or seams. Maybe even some smaller detail in some areas here as well. Okay. The next one, no, hold on. I want to talk about the characters here for a second. Looking at the characters here, hold on. There it is. Okay. Can I remove these lines? I don't think so. Okay. There it is. Ah. Okay. Looking at the characters here. I like the hair. Yeah, you can see my OBS because I am screen sharing. That's why you can see it. It's just easier to do because when I switch between all these programs, I don't want to switch between all the scenes all the time, Blender, and then, oh, let's go to Photoshop. I forget it oftentimes, so I like to just stay in display capture. I think it's just way easier for me. I don't have to think about it every time that I have to switch the scene when I want to switch to Photoshop, for example. Yeah, so that's why you can see it right there. Ooh. Welcome back, Dracusis. Hope you've enjoyed your Thursday. Maybe something exciting happened. Okay, let's look at the hair. I like the hair. I think we talked about the way, or different hairstyles that you've created before. What we talked about were the different levels of hair. First level being the volume and structure and flow of the hair. Second level would be breaking up the main structure, main flow of the hair, creating a second layer on top of the volume layer. And then the third layer would be to kind of create some wild hair that doesn't really conform or doesn't really follow anything, like the main flow basically. James kind of quiet. I think he said like a few weeks ago that his semester started again, so he was probably busy with that. Yeah, Okay, but this hairstyle fits quite well to, or this hairstyle works quite well. Let's talk about why that is. Why does this hairstyle why does this hairstyle look pretty good? First of all, I like the structure that you've created. I like that you've basically, that you spread out this like this. You've kind of separated the two pieces or three pieces of the hairstyle. Usually you can kind of separate, especially for long hair, the hairstyle into three big pieces. For this one, it would be the one in the front here, these bangs, I think they're called, like this. Then you would have the side piece maybe going into the middle right here, like this. And then doing the same on the other side as well. These would be the three main pieces. Dominatrix here. I mean, it's quite fitting to the suit if you want. Okay, that's what I like. Why does it look so good though? I think it is because the structure of this hairstyle is very, very kept. I can't remember what movie it is from. I can't look it up. I don't know anymore what it's called. But this hairstyle is very kept, so there aren't really multiple layers. There's only really one hair flow. Every hair kind of goes in the same direction, or it keeps or stays in the flow of the main flow. Basically, there isn't really like breaking off hair that kind of goes its own way. Everything kind of follows the main shape or the main flow. And I think that's why this works quite well. If this would be something longer, for example, that maybe even goes over the shoulders and kind of lies on it so that it kind of goes in this direction, for example, I think then you would go into multiple layers. But because this is a more short hairstyle and it is a very kept hairstyle, I think you can resort, you don't really need all three layers necessarily. I think if you want to make your hairstyle super realistic, then you would probably always add 3 layers at least. But if you want to keep it quite simple, you can also just use one for these kinds of hairstyles. Pulp Fiction, hold on. No, it was a newer one where they I think they recreated a dead character, a dead actor with only CGI. I can't remember. I can't even remember the actor that played in it. Maze Runner, was it that one? Maze Runner. No, it wasn't Maze Runner. What was the other one called? With he has like the trench coat on, and it's more like sci-fi, futuristic, cyberpunk style. Fifth Element? No. Hold on, maybe. The Fifth Element? No, that's from 1997. I mean, it could still work as well. Let's look at that. Yeah, this one is a more wild. This one's more wild, as you can see. You can see these ones. You can see the different strands of hair. It is not as spread out as the one that you've created. Let me see, dude. I can't remember what the name is. Well, who cares? Yeah, I think this works quite well. So good job on that. I like the hairstyle. Or yeah, it looks good. I like it. And that's basically everything that I want to talk about for this. You're blue screening me? What do you mean? You mean because this is blue, the chat box? Okay. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the suit before. The only thing that really changed here is the hairstyle, so I wanted to talk about the hairstyle. No, it's not Dexter's Laboratory. Okay, never mind. Let's go to the next one. So the next one was from Lego Robot. Lego Robot decided to do a likeness sculpt, not of some sort of who cares celebrity, but of himself. So let's look at that real quick. Or let's look at that. Let's look at, we have different, or I of course looked through the outstation post. We have multiple different versions. We not only have of course, the final version here. We also have multiple perspectives, of course. We also have a I guess, madcap version or a workbench version, I guess you could say. We also have a geometry version where you can see the structure of this. The structure of, or the geometry of the model. Let's talk about the face first, or the rendered version. Oh, hold on. There you go. Okay. So, I don't really apologize. I updated the model and my username under. Okay, welcome, Kevin. Welcome. Yeah. I was wondering if you joined the stream before, or if you watched it later, because I've never seen Zero. What was it, Zero? Right? Yeah. I've never seen Zero in the chat, but maybe I thought maybe you've just been quietly lurking, but yeah. You know, as long as you don't, you don't want to really use textures, or you don't really want to use or complex textures, and you don't really want to use, like, you don't want to animate the character, I think you can still work with the raw model. You don't really need to retopologize it necessarily. Okay, so with this one, we talked about anatomy before by Windows. We talked about it before. A likeness sculpt is, in terms of anatomy, I think a likeness sculpt is hard to give feedback on, because I don't know what the image looks like. It could be that the nose could just, you would need to move the nose a little bit higher. Maybe the nose is just a little bit shorter. Maybe the eyes are a little bit bigger, as you said in the Discord. Maybe the ears are a little bit higher, lower, whatever. Maybe the hairline is different. I don't know. I can't really give you good feedback on the anatomy, because I don't know what the original looks like. There might be, maybe I say, well, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what that would be, so giving feedback on that, on the anatomy, wouldn't really make sense. So what I want to look at would be more the execution of the render, going over textures maybe, or the shader overall, and maybe, yeah, I think that's one thing that kind of stuck out to me the most. Okay, what I like though is that you've added some hair to the ear, like very, very fine hair, this fuzz hair that you basically have everywhere over your face. That's what I like, great attention to detail there. Maybe they're a little bit too long, maybe not. I haven't really looked at them for a long time, so so yeah. I was practicing the anatomy, that's why the clothing was simple. Yeah, it looked like you've created some, some outfit concepts. So of course, if they're concepts, they don't really need to be super worked on. They don't really need to be super detailed. That was just, stuff you could do to improve it, make it, if you want to go further into it. So let's look at the render, how you've created the shader, and of course I don't know what the nodes look like, but let's look at the execution of the render. Overall, I think, let's talk about the lighting first. I like the lighting. The lighting overall, I think, is good to showcase a character. One thing that sticks out to me though is the harshness of the shadow, I would say. This could just be, preferential. What I want to say first is I like the lighting because you have a bright light coming from this side, which basically gives you a nice shadow, which not only highlights the nose. You can see the nose is very, very highlighted. You can see this very, very clear shadow there. It also highlights the eyebrow and also the forehead. You also highlight the lips slightly, and you also highlight the chin. So I like the light coming from the side. I think that's a good spot to place a light in general, just to kind of highlight the structure of the model. I like the edge light. Oh, hold on. I like the edge light. as far as I can see, it looks like you've used two lights. One coming from in the front here, like this basically. And then one coming from the back, more like this. There you go. Like this. So that there's a very bright light, a rim light coming from the back, and one coming from the front, or from the side rather, that highlights this side. I think you can add one more light so that this side of the face isn't, or that this side of the face retains some of its structure. I think one good thing to retain more of the structure of a model is to not place the light, for example. I don't know if this light is like exactly in the middle or right on the same height as the face, but in general, hold on. Where are you? There you are. Oh no, I can't do that, okay. To highlight the structure of a face a little bit more, I would say it's always helpful to place the light a little bit higher than the face, so that the light comes from up here and still creates some natural shadows where there would be some. For example, here you would have some nice shadow. You would have some nice shadow probably over here, just very, very slightly. Maybe even over here where the fat pad is, maybe slightly. This creates, this makes this side quite bright and still creates these nice shadows. But you can also keep some more structure on this side of the face by just putting the light a little bit higher. It looks like you actually placed it pretty high. You can see the light in the eye. Looks like, you know, if the light would be on the same level, it would probably be somewhere over here. The light seems to be a little bit higher, so that's good. That's why you probably have this shadow right here. The light seems to be quite small just because of the sharpness of the shadow. One thing that I think you can do to basically bring some more structure in this side of the face, as you can see, you can't really see the structure of this side that much. Everything is sort of the same value of color. One thing you can do to mitigate that is basically you can try just adding a light, a very, very dim light that kind of brightens up the shadows on this side by adding a light that is roughly over here, that is very, very dim, like very, very, very dim like this, that just kind of highlights, for example, this here, make this a little bit brighter, this area a little bit brighter, then, for example, underneath the cheekbone, so that there's a slightly darker spot right here, and then you would go back to being a little bit brighter. This way you can bring back a little bit of the structure in the left side of the face, or, you know, in the right side on this, in this image, while still keeping this side quite dark. Another thing you can try is to, I don't know if that works that well. I think you, oh no, I think you added another rim light, or another light that comes from back here somewhere that brightens up this area here. So we'd probably have three lights, as I could see. You have one right here in the mid, in the front, that kind of shines here down, coming more from the front. Then you have one from the back, kind of shining onto this area here from the back, and then you have one on this side to kind of create this nice edge light around the ear, around the back here, and then the hair as well. I think you can add one more just to kind of lighten up this shadow, just very, very slightly, to bring back a little bit of the structure that you would have over here. Yeah, that's everything for the lighting. Let's go to the material. One thing that I encountered as well, I learned that trick at some point. I don't know, I just randomly stumbled upon that that website that talked about how to create convincing and natural looking eyes. And they talked about creating a second model that kind of is placed like a tear model, like a water model, that is placed right here on the edge of the eye. This basically makes it so that there's a clearer transition, or a less of a stark contrast between the eye and the the eyelid. It's not like super sharp. There's this slight transition from the eyeball to the eyelid by just creating this sort of watery, yeah, model right there. I think the problem here though is what I also encountered is the water gets very dark. I think that is just because of how the glass, I think if I, if I would guess, I would guess this would be a principal BSDF with transmission set to 1, I think, so that it looks like glass. I think the problem though is because of how Cycles renders glass, usually it looks pretty, it gets darker the more, or if light passes through, it just gets darker. So it's not like this fine layer of water on top of the eye that it would be. You can see it here as well. There's just this gray line down here. I encountered that problem as well, and I kind of thought about how you can solve it. Let's look at my last piece and see if I actually succeeded. I can't remember. Maybe mine looks just like that. Let's see. So let's look at this again. Okay, well, you can't really see it there. Can we see a clear version? There you go. See, well, mine is maybe a little bit too thin, but you can still, I think I would need to remove this piece here, but there's a very, very thin and fine layer of water here. You can probably still improve it. This was my first try trying it. So one thing you can probably do is maybe play around with the settings some more, but overall, what I did to make it less black, I had the same problem. It was super black. One thing I did to change that was basically I went into the principal BSDF shader. Wait, no. I went into the principal BSDF shader. Of course, I increased the transmission to 1 so that it looks like glass. But then I also slightly increased the, I think I decreased the alpha so that it is slightly transparent. What that does is basically, hold on, let me put a plane in the back. There you go. You can't really see the plane. Is the roughness down? There you go. There you go. So now it's glass. It's quite, dark. And the transmission is at 1. The transmission roughness is also at 0. So it's super glossy. Specularity, does that do anything? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not, because it's tied to reflections. Sheen tint? No. Okay. What I did to make this more translucent, make it less gray, less dark, is I basically just, brought this down. Made it more transparent. Of course, this would be 1, so it would be just, non-existent. It would be fully transparent. But what you can do is you can just kind of increase it a little bit. This way you can still get this nice glassy reflection in there, but you can still make it look more like this slight water layer that is on top of the eye. It doesn't look as dark as it looked like this. See how dark it gets? By just bringing down the alpha a little bit, you can make it lighter and make it look more like the water layer. Okay, that's one thing. And then there's one thing that kind of that confused me. Not because you did anything wrong, but because I don't know, it just confused me. You could see in the ear that you have included subsurface scattering. You can see it very clearly, and I think the subsurface scattering looks good. What I think though, maybe that's just me, that could be tied to 2 things. What I think though is it looks a little bit like wax. I don't know why though. I have 2 ideas why that could be. The first idea is because maybe you haven't added enough subsurface scattering. You probably use a texture map for the subsurface scattering. You maybe haven't added enough subsurface scattering to, for example, the eyes or the nose, so that it looks, so that it looks more waxy than it shouldn't, or than it should. Or The other idea that I had is that the skin in some areas looks too smooth. Of course, some people have very smooth skin, and you have some bumps right there, but I don't know. I think it's more the first option. I think it's more the first idea. I don't know why, but it looks. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. It looks slightly waxy. Let me see. Let me come. I mean, of course, this would probably not be a good comparison because it's a darkish skin. And this one is also, it's just a completely different lighting situation, so you can't really compare it. I don't know why. Maybe adding some more surface imperfection when it comes to color that could help, just to kind of give the skin some more variation. I've added a lot over here. You can't really see it because the structure is so strong, but you can see it here slightly. You have a red layer, you have a brown layer, you have some spots right here, some smaller spots, some sprinkling, I guess you could say. Same for the nose. Maybe that could help to kind of de-unify, make the skin more random, which maybe makes it look more natural. I don't know. It's that's what's so confusing about it. The subsurface scattering on the ears looks good, but then it looks a little bit too waxy over here. Waxy sounds so weird. Yeah, and I don't know what it could be. Maybe you have an idea because you know made the model. Yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to point out. I like that you've added these small details like this pimple right here, or the mole. What is it called? Mole. I like that. I think the hair looks good. Overall, I think I like the hair. You also added a mole right there. I like it. Yeah, I think the execution is good. It just, I don't know what it is. The skin looks a little bit too waxy. I don't know what it is. I think let me just quickly pull that up. We had a in my how to create a character in 4 minutes video, I linked 2 websites. One of them was I think photorealistic head shading, where they talk about the different maps that they use to create a realistic head. In this one, you can not only see the what it does basically, you can also see the how the maps look like. This one is for, what is it? Is that subsurface scattering? I don't even know if that was the one that I was looking at. Yeah. This one is for subsurface scattering. You can see how waxy it looks on this side, how hard it looks, and you can see how soft it looks on this side. You can see how much light passes through the skin, and then sort of goes back out. You can see there just the details kind of get lost in it because the light can pass through the skin. So this is too much, maybe. This is too little, because basically nothing. A little bit, but basically nothing. Maybe, you know, just kind of going in and maybe reinforcing the values of the eyes, nose, and lips can help kind of remove this waxy feeling. I don't know, maybe. Just an idea. I can't really pinpoint it. I think the eyes are okay. The eyes, do you mean the shape? I think the anatomy is okay. Of course, I don't know what it's called again, like this fold right here that has a certain name. But, of course that is, you know, some people have that, some people don't. I don't know if it's I don't think it's tied to anatomy. I think it's more the shading. Yeah, basically. One thing you said was, what was it? Might make, no. Where is it? I need to see it. I think it was on topic. Oh, okay, interesting. Looks interesting. Hold on. You said something about clear coat layer. Is it here? No. Had to fix clear code map. So I had that, I got that suggestion before where somebody said, well, you can use the clear code input. Oh, hello. In the principal BSDF shader to create roughness for on the skin, maybe like oil, I guess, on the skin. I don't know why you would, well, I don't know why you would use the clear code basically input. I usually just use the roughness input. Maybe there's something I don't know about the difference between the two, but you know, I only use roughness. Maybe I can improve my renders even more if I use both. Maybe it just looks better if I use clear code. I've just never seen any evidence of that. And I've, looking through these sources here, they don't talk about clear code, they just talk about roughness. What they talk about is subsurface scattering. Wait. Subsurface scattering, color, DMFP, whatever that is. And then roughness as well. They don't really talk about clear code. Maybe that's, of course, specularity, of course, as well. There's the fuzz, the small hair that is covering the entirety of your face. You can see it there. But yeah, they didn't really talk about clear code. So I wonder why some people use the clear code input. Maybe there's something, maybe there's a benefit to it. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I can't really talk about the anatomy. The lighting, we talked about it before, maybe adding like a small light over here to kind of bring a little bit more structure in the shadowy part of the face. And then, I don't know, the shading is confusing. Not in the sense that it doesn't make sense, but in the sense that there's something that you can improve that I can't really pinpoint where the cause is for it. And then, of course, the eye water transmission, bringing that down a little bit. Not the transmission, but more the alpha to make it lighter. I think that can help to make it look more like water. Okay, and create a clearer transition. One thing I want to try for the next time I create one of these characters is, I think what it looks like here is that basically this water as a model, just like mine is as well, is basically just a model that is shaped like this, like a sausage, I guess you could say, that is round like this. I think what would work better for this would be to create a shape that is more like this, so you can create a smoother transition to the eye like this, rather than going outwards. It kind of transitions to the eye. It kind of fills the gap. If this would be the gap, it would really, if this would be the gap, it wouldn't really go like this, the water. It would kind of smooth it out some more. That's one thing that I wanted to try the next time I create one of these these characters. Yep, that's all I wanted to talk about for this character. And good job. You added seam lines. I like it. Nice. Okay, we have one more, I think. Hold on. Yeah, we have one more, and that is this one. Yeah, I think it is worth talking about it. Hustler, I think it is worth talking about it, even though you might not walk on it anymore, or you need to just do it more and more to get better at it. That is true. You need to do it more and more to get better at likeness sculpting. But I think the best way to improve, the best way to improve your artworks is by basically creating artworks, repetition, and then looking at these artworks, or the loop should be created artwork, step 1. Step 2 would be analyze the artwork to see what you can do better next time. And then step 3 would be create, or well, it's like a 2-part loop, create an artwork, and then analyze the artwork. And then for the next artwork you create, you keep these adjustments or these improvements in mind to basically make sure that you improve on them the next time. And this way, you know, that's, I would say, I would describe how you can improve in yeah, art, in creating art. There you go. This one's the second one, right? Yeah, that it must be. It's the newest one. Okay. I think this one is also the best way to talk about it would probably be in Photoshop. So hold on. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So let's begin in here. No, that's not the one that I wanted. There you go. Okay. The good thing is we see the reference down here. I see you use, it looks like you use pure reference ball. Nice, 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 nice. I like it. Okay. One thing that sticks out to me immediately, hold on, that sticks out to me immediately is the structure of the ear. You can see it right here. Zip. Hold on. Zip. Zip. And then like this. It is almost correct. Almost. Let's look at a real ear for a second. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm quite sure that it's how I think it is. Oh, I don't like that many tabs. Ear. There you go. Okay, let's look at the ear. They look a little bit different, but they in their structure are quite similar. I think this one is easier to see. Okay, so if we look at the ear shape, we talked about it before. We have a C shape out like right here, the big C that kind of goes around the entirety of the ear. Maybe you can even see like the C then goes into the middle of the ear right here. But this is the general C shape, like this. Goes all the way from the top, all the way down to the bottom. This, in the middle of the C, you have one more letter. And that is a Y. The Y is basically kind of twisted, but the Y would be going up here and then splitting into the two Y pieces at the top, the two arms, right here and right there. Looking at a different image, what about this one? This one is probably better. You can see the C right here, and then the Y would be, this would be the lower piece of the Y, and then it splits right here. Looking at the ear right here, your ear, you can see the C right here. Good. And then you have the Y, which goes in, and then you can see it splits like this. I think the problem here is don't focus on the ear since it would be hidden beneath the hair. Well, if you add the ear, I'm gonna look at the ear, okay? You can't just hide stuff, you know, because it's not there. If I see, you know, if you added it, then I'm gonna look at it. And you know, I think it can still help you if you know what you can change next time, you know. So the Y would, I think the Y just splits a little bit too early. I think what would be better here would be to go like this, and then it splits somewhere over here. The Y, the two ends are quite short compared to the I don't know, the bottom piece. Yeah, that's the only really thing that you can change. Also, it's hard to explain. To kind of fill this space some more, what you can do is you can kind of add some more volume over here that goes more into the middle of the ear, that creates the C shape. that is hard to see and hard to describe. The C shape is basically this, like this sort of hood underneath here that gets created by this sort of this shape, you know. That's the shape that I'm talking about, that is right here on the outside of the C, that kind of fills the space here from the distance from the Y to the edge of the ear. The first head, hold on. Yeah. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to talk about for the ear. Let's talk about the what you can improve for the likeness. I think we can immediately go to, hold on. We can go here. Okay, so let's compare this to your character. So I think let's talk about the side view first. I think the profile view is the best one, or I like the profile view the most to look at a character, just because the silhouette is very, very clear. You can see the structure of the nose very well. You can see the structure of the lips very well. You can see the structure of the chin very well. Overall, the shape of the head is very, very clearly defined in the side view. The next one, of course, would be the front view, that kind of shows you more the structure of the jaw, the width, for example, or the ears. Also, the width of the nose and all that stuff, of course, would be more visible in the front view. So I want to focus on these two, probably, maybe a few adjustments over here, but I want to focus on these two. Let's begin with the side view. Yeah, so let's go from top to bottom, I would say. Yep. Okay, first thing first, that kind of jump out to me. I think the head overall is a little bit too high. The forehead, you could say. If we look at the head right here, it's kind of, okay, let's go back here. Looking at the head shape and seeing where the skin, I mean the hair originates from. You can see the forehead starts right here. Hold on, there you go. Forehead starts right there, then goes and basically almost immediately goes back, and then goes back like this. That would be my rough estimation. It is slightly, it's quite flat. It might be a little bit more round, maybe more like this, but it's not as long as this would be. You can also see maybe the comparison from the ear to the head, but I think the comparison is quite hard, just because you would have to take into account that the ear needs to be in the right place so that you can look at the two distances. So let's go back here. I think one thing you can do is just overall bring the head down a little bit. Oh, that's too big. Just kind of, you know, bringing it down a little bit. I think that can help overall. Like this. Also, that's something that I do sometimes. For some people, that is correct. That the drop the file. No, I think I can use the images. I think that's okay. You can see for some people the back of the head is higher than the front of the head, where the hair begin basically. For some people it's like horizontal, and for some it's like round, where you have the highest in the middle. I think what you can do here is you can slightly bring down the back of the head like this, so that it's either round up here or maybe even flat like this. There you go. Okay, I think, yeah, of course I distorted it a little bit, but I think the ear shape in general, for her it's more like an actual C. For some people you have like a dip in the middle right here, like down there, looking at this ear. Nope, hold on. So we have this clear C shape, this very, very round shape, and then there are other ears that look more like this, where you have this kind of dip in there. Can we see another example? No. There it is. See how it kind of goes in? You have a slight dent in there. She has that as well, as far as I can see. No, she doesn't have it. She has this nice clear C shape, this round C shape. But I think, I don't know if it's because of the distortion, because of me, or because it was there before. I think it's slightly thinner. What I mean with thinner is just kind of by pushing this forward a little bit, you can bring it closer to what she has as an ear shape. There you go. Okay. You can also see in the profile view where the, what is it called? The ear originates from at the top. Looking at the top part of the circle here, the cursor going horizontally, where the ear, I mean the eyelid, basically the upper eyelid is where the ear begins. Right here you can see. And for the bottom ear connection, horizontally is where the nose begins. Where the bottom of the nose is basically. Looking at that in here, that's the bottom of the nose. We could maybe make it a little bit, bring it a little bit lower. We could either do that, or we can bring the nose a little bit higher. We have two options here. Let's keep it for now like this. Yeah, I think the forehead works a little bit better like this. You can see the differences. Let's talk about the what is it called? The eyebrows, let's say. Looking at the eyebrow, you can see a very, very clear profile, a very, very sharp edge where the eyebrows are. There you go. You can see this very, very clear transition that looks like this. Comparing that to yours, it's more, it's pretty smooth, you could say. See how smooth it is compared to this one? Let's adjust that real quick. There you go. So what you can do is basically just kind of push this down a little bit. This also gives her more of this expression that she has. Hold on, it's kind of hard to do it with a round circle or with a circular cursor. There you go. Okay. Oh. There you go. Maybe we can even push down the eyebrows a little bit. There you go. Okay. So just kind of make the looking at the silhouette, making the eyebrow kind of transition here a little bit sharper and smaller. Okay, now that we're there, let's go to the nose. I like that you added this small bump in the nose. She has that as well. I think it's a little bit too strong. So one thing you can do, it is very straight, but there's a slight bump in there. This one I think is a little bit more S-curvy than it needs to be. So one thing you can do to fix that is, I guess, just kind of push this up, and maybe that's maybe even enough. This very, very slight change. There you go. Let's go to the tip of the nose. Tip of the nose. Oh, one thing you can see here as well is looking at the tip of my cursor. I don't know why I point at the at the screen. You can't see my fingers. Looking at the tip of my cursor right here, at the top of the cursor, you can see, looking at it horizontally, the eyes are slightly underneath this slight the transition from the nose to the eyebrow. It's a little bit below that. For this one, the eyes are higher than that. You can see this is the sort of transition here, and the eyes are higher than that. So of course you can bring down the eyes a little bit. There you go. Also, one thing you can see for the eyes, there's not as much volume underneath the eye. You can see there's like this free space, and then you get the cheekbone. So one thing you can do is just kind of reduce the volume underneath the eye, like this. There you go. Okay. Eye size. Oh, one thing you can keep in mind that I learned from drawing eyes, I guess, or drawing in general, the eye shape, looking from the side, of course, or hold on, the eye shape looking from the front is like this. Basically two curves going in the opposite direction. You could maybe even do it like this. What I like to do is do this, and then this one is just a little bit shorter so that then you can add the tear duct later. For the side view, you have this sort of this shape, like this, and then you have this outwards going curve, like this. It looks like this. Greater than, no, smaller than, like this. And then you would have the eyelid above and below, like this. That's what it would look like. I think this is a little bit too round. You can probably pull this back a little bit. So let's do that real quick. There you go. Oh, hold on. How can I zoom? I don't even need to zoom in. There you go. See the small difference? Oh, okay, well, you can't really see it with all the changes, but just kind of pushing it further back gives this more of a natural eye shape. Okay, let's go to the nose tip. I think the degree at which the nose tip is pointing upwards is okay, or is good. One thing that I like to keep in mind is the shape of the bottom piece of the nose, basically where the tip of the nose connects to the lip, beginning of the lip, basically. What I mean is this right here, going from here to here, where then the lips begin. It looks like this. Some people, of course, are different and they have it like this. So this isn't like wrong necessarily, but what I like to keep in mind, or what I like to sculpt, is how it is like how it is ending horizontally like this. Not at an angle, but more horizontally. There are people that have more of a nose that points upwards, but for her, it ends quite horizontally. It's slightly upwards, but it's very, very faint, very, very small. Also, one thing, to form the whole of the nose, usually, or, well, not usually, let's look at a face real quick. Face, side. Okay, 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 yeah. Looking at these images right now, you can see that the nostrils end roughly where the nose connects to the lips. You can see it right here. Even though the nose points upwards, it is quite steep. The nostrils still horizontally end where the nose, the middle part of the nose, connects to the lips. You can see it here as well. It's quite small. You can see it here, you know, horizontally. You can see it here very well. Wow. There you go. See how it perfectly horizontally is on the same level, or vertically on the same level. There you go. For her, it's the same. That's where the nose ends. It's even a little bit lower. That's where the nostrils end, and this is where the nose connects to the lips. Here, the nostrils end here, and the nose connects to the lips somewhere over here. So one thing you can do is probably just kind of bring it back in here, like this. And maybe even bring the nostrils slightly down. And also one thing, let's see if that is another average. Seems to be that way. Of course, you have different nostril shapes looking from the side. But I think the most common nostril shape is looking like this. What I mean is the shape, if I want to exaggerate it, looks like this. If you compare it to yours right now, yours is more like this. Maybe even like this. I think it's a little bit too big. What I like to do is kind of bring in this downwards kind of motion and then going upwards and adding this just to kind of make sure that it's not going upwards basically. This is all just average, but I think you need to, in my opinion, learning the averages first and then going into how you can vary the face is a good way to learn anatomy. Okay. So if you would adjust the nose, what we could do is we could, for example, bring down the nostril a little bit, maybe even over here, bring it down a little bit. Let's look at the reference. Hers has like this heart shape for the nostril. So it would be something like this. There you go. Perfect. And then we have the nostril shape. We're working with 11 pixels brush size. So it goes downwards and then upwards again at the end. There you go. You can also see the tip is a little bit longer. The hole isn't as long, so you can probably push it back a little bit. Over here, there you go. Yeah. Maybe you can make the tip a little bit rounder. There you go, just slightly. And then, of course, we want to level the connection to the lip with the nostril. So we just grab it, push it a little bit higher. There you go. It's not perfect, but it's a good beginning, I think. Maybe we could, you know, change the tip a little bit, bring it a little bit lower. Oh. There you go. Okay. That's for the nose. Maybe it's a little bit too long. I can't really see that. I'm not an expert in likeness sculpting, so I can't really estimate the length from here to here, comparing that to here. It might be a little bit shorter. So why don't we just push it up slightly? Oh, actually no, I don't want to push it up slightly. You know what? No, I'm going to do it. I will do it. Just slightly. Okay, well this completely ruins what we've done before. Hold on. Nope, it doesn't work. Wait. Can we not just change the strength? Apparently not. Okay. There you go. Okay. I think it's also a little bit, what do you call it, like not as long. I know it's a lot of details, but that's just what likeness sculpting is, you know, tweaking the minor details over and over and over again until you get there. Okay. There you go. Okay. Let's go to the lips. So looking at the lips, I'm always, if I want to show something, oh, actually, no, I can just go in here. Looking at the lips, I think the best way to kind of examine, oh, welcome Fubuki FO. Hope you had a great Thursday. Welcome. We're doing some, of course you can see it in the YouTube title, but we're doing some a feedback session. This one is the last one we're looking at. This one is a likeness sculpt from Hustler. Yeah, so how you can analyze a lip shape, or how I simplify a lip shape, is basically by looking at the lip line in the middle that, you know, separates the top lip from the lower lip. How's that shaped? You could have a lower lip or a lip that looks like this. You could have a lip that looks like this. Or you could have a lip that looks like this. There are so many different shapes how the lip is shaped, or how this line is shaped, that this is a good indicator to, or this is a strong feature of the lips that helps you sculpt the lips, you know, that helps you capture the likeness when it comes to the lips. The other one are the lips, the lip, I guess you could say, outer edges. That would be this right here. This can have a lot of different shapes. Same for this. Lower lip, not really that different, but upper lip especially. For the upper lip, you could have something like, please, hold on. I need to save this real quick, otherwise I'm just gonna lose all the progress. I have this bug again where I can't really work on this anymore. I need to reopen it. Hold on. There you go. Okay. So you can have a lip shape, a lip edge shape, outer edge for the upper lip that could look like this. You could have a shape that looks like slightly less of a bump right there, and then it could look like this. You can also have a shape that looks like, oh well, we already have that looks like this. So I think these ones are the best indicators, and also of course the lower lip shape, the best indicators to, or the best, I guess, things to analyze when it comes to the lip, to nail the lip likeness, I guess, if you want to call it that. So looking at it, and then of course also the volume, I guess you could say, but it's more the line right here. Looking at the line, it is slightly going horizontal and then slightly downwards and then upwards again at the end. For yours, it is going in this, it's immediately going downwards and then upwards again. What you can do is probably just kind of going horizontal and then downwards and then upwards again. So if you want to do that, looking at the lip shape as well, you can see that it goes upwards and then downwards and into the mouth corner. For the lower lip, it's kind of just like this curve, this outwards facing curve. For yours, the lower lip looks good, outwards facing curve. Upper lip, it looks like it's like this. Comparing it to these lips, I think you can have some more like this. Like a little more room over here. You can push it out a little bit more. So doing that, let's do that real quick. What you can do is you can go in here and you can push this up a little bit. There isn't really that much definition, so you can't really see it that well, but I can still push it out a little bit. Lower lip looks pretty good. Let's kind of adjust the split from the two lips, making it horizontal, and then going slightly downwards and slightly upwards again. There you go. Looking at the silhouette, you can see you have a slightly curve going from the nose to the upper lip. For yours, it's more like a slope going downwards. So one thing you can do is maybe push this forward a little bit and then just create a sort of C shape like this. Maybe we have to push back the lips slightly. There you go. Okay. Now we have the C shape right here. We have these more voluminous lips, you could say, and we have adjusted the separation between the two lips. Maybe we could adjust the volume if you wanted to. I think the volume looks pretty good. One thing you could maybe say is that for the upper lips, it is actually going straight down and then kind of going smooth into the mouth. For yours, it's more going forward and then going into the mouth. So one thing you could do is kind of push this down like this, and then you can see the smooth transition. Maybe the upper lip is actually a little bit bigger than the reference. So one thing you could do is... Okay, you can tell me if I'm going into too much detail here. Of course, if I talk about every single detail, it's probably too much to really keep in mind. There you go. Okay, I think that's all for the lips. Let's look at the lips before and after. Da, da, da. Okay. Oh. Let's go to the chin real quick. I think we don't really need to change that much more. In terms of the head, I think the only thing you could adjust would be the jaw. I think overall, I think the chin is a little bit smaller with the curve still the same. So what you can just do is maybe even make the jawline a little bit sharper right here, like this, and then push this up a little bit. Hold on. Like this. There you go. Like this. Looking at a jaw from the profile view, I know sometimes that tends to happen for when you sculpt, when somebody, I've seen it in multiple pieces from people. Sometimes the jawline gets round, or is round. So what I mean is that it kind of goes downwards and then up again. So we have this curve right here. Looking at a skull though, that isn't really the case. The skull is basically just like this. There isn't really like a, it doesn't really go downwards. Looking at the references here, well, this has fat. Looking at this, this even goes inwards slightly. This one maybe has a slight outwards curve. Let's see. Maybe that is also caused because of the volume that we have here, because of the chin. This is a straight line. This is also a straight line. Straight line. Yeah. Here as well. This is even going inwards. So you can probably have an outwards facing curve for the jaw. But I think starting with a straight jaw is a better way to do it. To begin with. There you go. Now we've adjusted the head. One thing you could change. There's one more thing that I want to mention. And that is the cheekbone. I think you can push the cheekbone slightly lower. So there needs to be some room underneath the eye. Okay, so wait, hold on. Can you see this? You are, but this is a video, so we're gonna revisit it as many times as needed. Also, it's good to know about these things to keep them in mind. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If this would be a lesson which you can revisit, then of course, it wouldn't make sense to talk about so much detail. Wait, there you go. Look at, if I use my finger, you can see if I try to push into my eye here, this is where the bone is. I can't really push upwards anymore. And if I try to push in, there isn't really that much room above the eye to go into the eye hole right here. You can see, of course, that is dependent to my anatomy, of course. Maybe some people have more room up here, but there's little room up here above the eye, like this. But there's more room below the eye. I can go way deeper underneath the eye, you can see. So there needs to be a little bit more room underneath the eye for the character. You can see you have some room underneath the eye. You can also see it in here. Hold on. You can see it right here. This is basically what I mean. This is the eye hole. The same as here. This is the eye hole. Maybe a little bit bigger like this. There you go. I think for yours, it's maybe not necessarily underneath the eye. I think the space underneath the eye is okay, but it kind of looks like it goes like this. Comparing that to hers, it looks more like it goes like this. It doesn't really go upwards again. It just goes straight back like this. Comparing that to yours, it looks like it goes kind of upwards like this. So we can adjust that pretty simply by kind of just pulling it downwards. There you go. Perfect. Oh, dude. Okay. Let's look at it again. So what I mean is, hold on, there you go. For her, it's like this. You also included this sort of space underneath the eye, but the problem is, well, it's hard to see here. Oh, dude. What was happening is that the cheekbone was kind of going upwards again, and then kind of rounding out, going to the eye, to the ear. But for her, it's more like a straight line going back to the ear, like this. Da-da-da. Yeah. So one thing to adjust that would be to just kind of push it down a little bit, like this. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Let me just quick do a few adjustments here. Okay. Yep. Those are all the changes that I would that I want to talk about right now. I think these ones are the biggest ones, the biggest changes. There are quite a lot, but of course, if you can revisit it as much as you want, you can ignore it if you want. I don't care, you know. I give you the value, or hopefully it's value, you know. If you want to use it, then you can do it. Okay, yeah. Let's look at the comparisons between the two. Let's see what it looked like before, and then let's see what it looked like afterwards. So this is afterwards, and then this is before. Dip, dip, oh. So you can see the changes. So let's go from top to bottom just quickly. We see the head length from the eyebrows upwards isn't as long in the reference. You can see just pushing it down a little bit kind of helps with that. Just kind of pushing it down, as you can see. Then the thickness or the rigidness of the transition from the nose to the eyebrows is a little bit sharper. Looking at here, there you go. It's a little bit sharper. See this line? Comparing that to the previous sculpt, you can see how smooth it is and how long it is. We pushed it down and made it a little bit sharper, basically. There you go. The nose is maybe a little bit shorter. The eyes, first of all, have this shape basically. Hold on. This shape. Keep in mind that the upper eyelid is further forward than the lower eyelid. Yeah, I like that you added this bump. Great observation. It's just not as strong here. You know, it's still quite straight, just like a very, very slight bump in there. You could probably even live without it. Okay. The nostril, the bottom of the nostril ends where the nose connects to the lips. You can see it right here. Oh, that's one thing that we could adjust. The transition is quite sharp. You can see yours is quite round, like this. And this one is more sharp. You can see how sharp this edge is right here up there, looking at the top of my cursor. So one thing you could do is kind of push it upwards. There you go. Very, very slight change. But of course, it just sprung into my eye. There you go. Might be a little bit too strong, but you know. Yeah. Then the shape for the nostril, like this wavy shape, this wave shape. for the nostril, not like upwards, like a C shape, but more like a wave, like this. The lips, the lip shape, you know, you have different lip shapes, not only for the section or the separation from the up top lip to the bottom lip, but also for the edges of the lip, the outer edges basically, to define the lip shape. Yeah, and then overall just slight volume changes in the upper and lower lip. They are not really, I think they are more prone to practice. You need, you know, that's just something practice can improve. I mean, everything that we talk about, but you know, especially that. And then the jawline being very straight, you know, very straight jawline, very straight jawline. This one I think is a little bit rounder than it needs to be. And then a sharp edge right here as well, or corner. There you go, sharp corner. Yeah. And then, oh, we also lowered the cheekbone slightly. You can see the cheekbone is quite high. For her, it's actually quite low. You can see this light being basically over here. There's the light shining on top of the cheekbone. For yours, it's, hold on, yeah. It's over here. I think it's overall just a little bit too high. We push it down a little bit. There you go. Looking at it in its pure form, hold on. That. That. Yep. And then the eye shape, the ear structure. Yep. That is, I don't want to go into these two. I think we talked about enough with just this one. So I think that's enough for this. We don't need to go into 100% everything. Yep. I hope that this is helpful. And yeah, those are all the submissions from this week. If you want to submit your own pieces to get feedback on, just like how we did it here for these pieces, either by, you know, kind of adjusting them in Photoshop or just talking about them in Blender, you know, like this, for example. Woo. Hold on. Angry. There you go. You can join the Discord and submit your pieces there. And then maybe we're going to look at them next week. Yeah, well, that is everything that I wanted to do today. Next week, we probably have a few smaller projects, and maybe we start a big one. We'll see. But yeah, hope you enjoyed today's stream. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. There's not going to be a stream next tomorrow. The next stream will be on Monday. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Maybe you learned something. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for listening or just being here. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day and hopefully the weekend as well. Maybe I'll see you next time. Take care.